some of the their money.
You could be like, oh, you know, look, you can look at the code. It's like people say, oh, you can look at the Bitcoin ledger and see. I'm like, no, you can look at the Bitcoin ledger and see. I can't. That's all German or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can learn things. It's impossible to do.
You can do that, nerd. All right. What do I look like? I talk nerd. Goddamn nerds.
I've unfortunately got a disease that prevents me from reading code. Otherwise, I totally would.
Yeah.
I'll get all the
that would
DLC.
be great. But then if we got into the point where in the real world all you eat is that like really gross looking goo because it just has like everything the body needs, but it's disgusting. You have to have the warm oatmeal kind of bacteria, and then you can go play gluttony afterwards.
Yeah, you just get your daily ration of Soylent, and then you jack into gluttony and just gorge yourself on Big Macs 24/7.
Well, and you are right. I saw your Discord message. You're 100% right. We need to make it so that you don't have to make 2 different fucking rooms.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what did I put for that?
Oh, it's doing it again. You see, Chris?
I'm not even seeing anything on the other screen. Is there anything happening on the bottom screen?
Yeah, it's still going because it thinks I'm still, like, it's that far behind.
Maybe I should program something in that's like, that compares your actual X position and your, array X position. Your draw array X position.
What's weird, right, is that it's delayed. And so how did you program the movement system? Did you create a buffer that gets loaded with the movement actions?
Yeah.
And then it reads from the buffer as like a queue?
Yeah, I mean, it draws from it. In actuality, where it's like, your X is getting updated. Actually, no. In actuality, your X gets updated not to your position, but your draw position, and I should change that. I meant to change that when I first started, but I forgot. But originally, the way it was supposed to work was it would always keep your X and Y, and you would be invisible and at that X and Y. But to make it look not so ugly, it would create an array of your positions, load an array of your positions whenever you were moving, and replay everything you did from that array.
Still not recognizing the player as or the outside player as an object. Sorry, keep going.
That was it. What is that fire sprite you have down there?
That's just the game maker scroll page. So it can't seem to recognize that Let's exit out of here and make sure that this list does get updated with the number.
So you're syncing the line you said right now? The hot dog stand?
Yeah, the server just needs to recognize the line syncs automatically by virtue that the NPCs sync, right?
Yeah.
The server just needs to know.
I just didn't know how it was.
What a player object is, what the other players' IDs are that it should be checking. There we go. That should do it. Should do it. Player in line. I love to see it. Player out of line.
Make it big so I can see it better. You hit F and it'll make it full screen.
Let's do this for now. Player in line according to this this debug prompt. Let's see if anyone gets in line behind me. Oh no. No.
Wait, what happened? Somebody stole your place?
Yeah, and it shouldn't have.
And
there we go. Now they didn't, though. That guy got in behind me. Oh, no. There was someone there. Well, this is annoying. It says player in line, which is good. It should. Alright, let's do this. Does it still work for the actual object player?
Oh yeah, you should be doing this with the server, right?
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is, can clients like so this guy can easily get in line. It's working. Get him out of line. So it works still for the player, but for whatever reason, for the client.
What is the actual line object searching for? OBJ all players or?
Yeah, OBJ all players. Oh, it broke again.
Yeah, that's bothering me. I don't know why that's happening.
That could be affecting why this isn't working. Like, because it needs to go off of the X and Y position of that thing. Could be affecting it.
Oh, you're saying, okay, gotcha.
That might be why I constantly see this message player in line too.
So draw the, draw on the server, maybe server player, draw the X and Y on both of them, I guess. Have the or you guys could just do it in your debugger, but then I can't see it. But get the X and Y, on the client of the player object and on the server of the, the other player, and see if those match. First of all, I would say.
Hold on, I'm still thinking. So when I'm clearly it's putting them in line. The problem of that theory that I'm having is that something broke now. Something that should be so simple.
Yeah, that's.
It literally should just be like it should work the same way. It's literally just is checking for the object ID. So the fact that it doesn't means something is seriously weird.
So you've removed the OR, and it still works for the player, but not for the client. So you've removed the OR; it just works off of the parent object, like it's.
I am. It's trying to do the just off of get parent does not work. So I'm just trying to fix that right now. And it makes no goddamn sense.
Yay!
I guess it's. Oh, I see.
Place I can heal.
Because object get parent is returning a number.
Oh, what you'll have to do is.
It's the index of the
Yes,
parent.
it's the index of that object type. So you'll have to.
So now I have to do.
Get name of that. Basically, I forget what it's called, but.
Get index maybe.
Game maker object index. This is a read-only variable that returns the index of the object. Object get name. Yeah, it should be object get name. Didn't you say you were using that?
I was before, but object get name was working off of this string as a name.
This function will return return the name as a string of a specified object. So if you feed it in that number, I think it should return to you the name as a string of your
But I need to go the other way. I'm getting the number.
Jeez,
I need to know if that number matches the object.
Legitimately scared me.
Index. I need the object index for it. I guess I could just do the object then, right? That should be it. OBJ all players.
Wait, you're using correct me if I'm wrong. You're using object get parent. It's returning a number. You want to translate that number into what object?
I just need to match it to object all players. So I think I just need to just put object all players in there.
Hold on. Yeah, it would be.
I think it's just the object all players. I assume that's just what.
So object. So you would do object index, and then. I think you would do this, right? Obj name equal. Or hold on.
No, I got it. That works.
Okay.
Alright, I'm optimistic. I think I see what I did wrong. It was on me and not the game, and not that code. I think because when I was testing it, I knew I'd have to fix this, but I didn't put myself a proper note to remind me to fix it. I had something hard coded as a object player server, so it was always checking object player server. I should have known that.
Oh.
The behavior makes that obvious.
Well, I hope it's that.
It appears to be working. Gotta wait for the line to get longer.
The sound effect in this game sounds like the beginning of that Butthole Surfer song. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to get different sprites in here, so like a hint system sounds fun to work on. I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
The hint into hey, I believe it's working.
Make it big so I can see on my stream for celebratory purposes.
Yes,
if it's working.
All right, that was on me.
But yeah, I'm excited to work on that. Like, honestly, I really wouldn't mind at all doing like a clothing system. Honestly, like
I actually think that's a better way to do it. I genuinely think that is a more fun. See, it's working. I'm in line.
It's exponentially more combinations
no, I don't
of
want
things.
A hot dog. I don't have any money.
But like without having to do any extra work, we create for every item we create, right? It's a permutation, not just a linearly increasing thing. So like if I make a cowboy hat,
we'll have to make something. We'll have to do a algorithm, the permutation algorithm, to ensure that all NPCs are created with only different permutations. Though I guess we could just cycle through the lists, right, one by one. But it means that we'll either need to sync up all of the, the permutations will be limited by.
I mean, I think we don't even need to really, if we have it so that they can also be changed in their color to at least just a few colors. By the time we get to like,
but we'll need to ensure. Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, as long as we ensure each thing has a different color.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
As long as by that time.
Easiest way is to do just the permutation algorithm in the very beginning that just literally runs through all the permutations, and then just if you want you can, because we don't need depending on how many, if you have 3 different object types, each with 10 permutations, then you hit our quota, right? 10 times 10 times 10.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right, something like that.
I think that's what it would be, right? Number of permutations. I might be wrong about that.
I have to.
What's the formula for permutations?
It's I think it's just the number of options times the number of options.
It might be factorial or something like that.
It depends if it's so there's permutations and something that's like it, and the difference.
Combinations.
Yeah, combinatorics and permutations. So like, one I believe. Well, let me look it up because I'm gonna be wrong. Difference between permutation and combination.
I think combination, maybe the order doesn't matter, so combination probably is.
Yes, it's something like that. It is, yeah, your order might be right, yeah. And the order doesn't matter in our case. So, but like my solution is like to make sure that nothing doubles up, or like that there's not two characters that look exactly the same if we do a clothing system versus a sprites thing. Is like with the clothing system, I would just make so many different options between colors and just different clothing items that I think by the time we get to like 10 or 20 clothing items, if we have 8 different colors for each of those clothing items, it's already like so unlikely that two things would ever cross over that we don't even need to consider that, right? Like it's just by the law of sheer numbers. It's
I mean, it could happen. But
it could happen, but like yeah, I think the fact that it could happen if it was a game breaking thing for that, like for someone to be exactly two sprites to be exactly the same, I think that would be crappy. But like, but it wouldn't break the game necessarily. So I wouldn't lock my solutions to things that have to solve, that have to make that not even a possibility. It would be. In fact, it might even kind of be a neat thing to be like, oh wow, I got so unlucky, right? Like, I gathered all this information, but I got the 1 in a million chance that these two sprites are the same sprite as the guy that I'm looking for in this scenario.
Yeah.
Oh damn, this bad guy is not as hard as the music made him out to be.
I guess this isn't even combination, is it? Because the combination thing deals with a single set, not a not 3 separate sets. So I think 10 times 10 times 10 is what it would be if we did 10 of each object. 10 boots. 10
I think it is. Yeah, it is the
shirts,
number
10.
of different options times.
It's
very simple because it's not dependent. Nothing in it
because
is.
it's a single set. Because it's multiple different sets, and none of the sets affect the choice made in the other.
Right. Exactly.
It's really just 10 times 10 times 10. If we were just do hat and shirt, it would just be 10. That even just 10 hats and 10 shirts would give us 100 combinations theoretically, right?
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So if you put 8 colors on each of those things, that's already 800. Like it won't be hard to get to a point where it's And I would, if it was something that was dependent, right? All I would do is I would do it like a deck of cards, right? I would assign one thing at a time. Like a deck of cards is like.
I mean, we could easily do that when we spawn through. Just do a for loop or something. But then you would always. The problem would be ensuring that you don't assign always the same shit. Like it'd get boring looking, because the same things combinations would always pop up. You need a randomization algorithm.
Yeah, you randomize it. This monster is putting he's getting handsy with me in the dark here.
Alright, well that works. So I'm going to remove all the garbage show debug stuff. The best part of about the show debug stuff is, even though I didn't just do it right now because it's easy, or because I only had 2 of them, but I can just search and replace to comment them out, because it's its own unique command versus like when we do the draw to debug.
Wait, what does it do exactly?
Well, I'm just saying. So show debug just puts a message in it prints a message in the console, right?
Right.
Whereas when we do our old method of debugging, which is actually drawing to the screen, you had to use a draw event.
Yeah.
So if I want to get rid of all the debug log messages coming up in the console, all I have to do is search and replace show debug message with a, either a commented version of it or
Oh
remove
yeah,
it
gotcha.
altogether.
I thought you were saying we could do something like Unity for a second, where like you can change stuff on the fly.
I think they might have debug buttons. I'm not.
We should
positive.
figure that out, because that would be a massive help. Like that is the number one thing I like Unity better for. Like it is just so easy. It is just so nice to not have to turn off and on something each and every time you want to.
Oh, you mean like actual editing, like the variables on the fly
Yes,
kind of thing?
yes.
Yeah, no, this definitely does not have that. Because this needs to be. This has like a.
I bet you someone's
the
like
compiler
modded that
for this is
in.
way too- Yeah,
I would be willing to look for something like that. Maybe not immediately, but at some point.
Alright. Yeah, that is great about Unity. It's so nice to be able to test that stuff super easily. Alright, well, there's a successful change.
Right on.
And we'll push
Have you
that.
thought about what you're gonna do for the other levels for the
The other
NPCs?
room?
I could start fiddling around with that too. I originally had said I was just gonna, do a couple things and then help out with that, but then I never did.
It's not that bad. I mean, it would probably take some time to figure out how it all works, right? So if you're having fun doing what you're doing, then I don't care. I don't mind doing all the AI programming. I just figured that you'd want to do
No,
it.
I do want to do it, stuff like that, but I just
But
yeah.
the big thing is you'll have to learn how I've been doing it, kind of thing, and make sure that, just make sure that our programming stuff is aligned in that sense.
Like I almost wanna. I almost want to just what I really want to do is I want to work on that stuff when we have a bigger level, and like I want and when we have more sprites out, I guess. I don't know. I do want to work on it. I just I really want to get to the testing portion, and I think to make that part, to really truly test the concept, just get the kills in, get the rounds in, get the hint system in, and I think that should be enough to really tell us whether it'll be.
Yeah, I think
What we're
the
looking
hint
for.
system will be a big deal in terms of making it fun, like making it genuinely fun. Because it'll be way more fun to try to when you're not just, when you have something to go on. You
Yeah.
need something to go on, because otherwise you're just looking for a weird, suspicious NPC behavior, which can be almost impossible.
Yeah, I just like the idea, like the more, like, yeah, there is a fun thing to telling the difference between an AI and a person.
There is, but there's a lot of downtime in that.
Yeah.
And then like, what incentivizes you to move around the screen? You need more incentive to move around the screen, and because and then you wind up maybe having everybody kind of just standing around.
Yeah, that's
You don't have enough opportunities.
that's my fear, is that people will play too passively, and I really, I want to incentivize.
With the hint system, and I think it'll be pretty, that'll be a really good. That's a huge advantage, having a hint on, on what someone might be wearing.
Plus, it just always gives a sense of progression, like you're always working towards some. Like I feel like the way it should work basically is, like like maybe there's 2 or 3 things available on the map, and there's sort of a hidden point system, right? Like the riskier ones are worth more, and eventually, like. I almost want to say, no, you should just get a direct. I almost want to say you should be able to like complete the objectives and then like cash them in so that you can like hold on to them, and the more you hold on to them, the better hint you get. Like maybe if you just do one simple low risk task, you get one hidden point, and that will give you a, like I said, like a negative hint, like no players are blue, right? Whereas like a higher price hint might be Marcus
I
is
figured,
tall
yeah,
and
it could build like that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
it could build, but yeah, that hint system is going to be interesting to design. That'll take some playing around with. Like you could have higher risk tasks give you better hints, or you can just have the more tasks you do, the more hints you get, and you can't repeat a task until you've done them all or something.
Yeah.
I also was thinking, okay, how reasonably are we gonna make it so that people can get into position easily? I wonder if we should just make it
Get into position for what? Like,
so in the very beginning, the start of the game is the highest risk for being caught, kind of. You know what I mean? Like you are, you're at higher. It's probably easiest to see who is a AI by who is not an AI, who is a player, by just paying really close attention to the very first seconds of the game. Because players are.
oh yeah, I was thinking about.
We're gonna need to find a way to put the player in the game in a way that makes sense.
Basically, the way I was. This is what I was. I was actually going to do this relatively soon with the round stuff, but I thought
there'll be like a countdown.
Like a curtain would fall, right? A curtain will fall, and then you can see just your guy and maybe a little circle around you, like a shader that will draw in the silhouettes of the NPCs around you or something, so you have an idea of how many dudes are around you. But like, you know, a curtain will fall. You'll run around behind it for a little while. You'll get and get into your position, and then the curtain will come up. Is the way I envisioned it. But if you have a better idea, I'm certainly open to other.
I think the curtain thing could work for sure. The other thing I was thinking is literally you literally just click on the NPCs that you want to take over in the very beginning. You'll just the game will pause. You'll click on the NPC. Once everyone's clicked, it'll just restart.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that.
You just have selected an NPC in the world.
That will definitely be the more interesting option once we have a lot of sprites and a lot of like all the clothing, whatever stuff in there.
That way you also don't get fucked by randomness. You have a chance to pick the NPC that you think is best suited for the task.
Right.
You know, you don't get fucked by RNG. It's being like, oh, there's only one guy somehow in this seed that has a cowboy hat.
Could that go the opposite way where there's like, okay, there's like, I guess no, this is fine, like, right? There's like 5 dudes that sort of look like each other. They only have one difference, and then I guess you're thinking like, do I pick one of those dudes, or like is everyone gonna pick one of those dudes? I like that better. I like picking.
The only thing we'll have to consider is what happens if 2 people pick the same dude. You'll need to.
You just bans them, right? Like just like Dota.
I was thinking, handle it like Dota does. It bans that guy can no longer be picked, which could be interesting. That could be an interesting element if everyone wanted to go for the same type of guy, and happened to pick on that. You know, it already gives you some information.
Right.
Which could be kind of neat.
Yeah, that all sounds really fun. I'm very like, my fear was like, okay, what if we try this and it's just like not fun and we never fiddle with the, we never figure out the right combination of things to make it fun. But like, I feel like with this other lever we can pull of like this other system in there to work on, I feel like there's, even if it's not fun the first time, I won't feel as defeated as if like we just made it and we didn't have a second lever to fiddle with.
Yeah, I feel good about this. If this game isn't here, there is a hidden information game very similar to this that is fun.
Yeah.
Like in the scheme of you're trying to blend in, but also trying to find out who everybody else is. Like it's better than Spy Party, because Spy Party, or not Spy Party, Hidden in Plain Sight, because Hidden in Plain Sight had that asynchronous thing, but it didn't feel like, not everybody was on the same playing field. It could get very boring and very quickly for if you were not the person trying to find other people.
It was very gimmicky, and it was very it was a very one-trick game. I feel like that.
Yeah,
that
exactly. It was boring if you were not the one finding people, in my opinion. Like if you're just pretending to be an AI, an NPC, then it kind of felt boring.
I enjoyed it okay, but yeah, I agree. It was much more fun if you were the finder.
Spotter.
Also, just like the idea of the sensation of like killing someone and slipping back into a crowd is like something I don't feel like any multiplayer game has ever really done or delivered on.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a single player game, sure, but like that's a different sensation, I think, than like, killing someone and then disappearing into a crowd,
Yeah. I think this game is like honestly one of my bigger fears too, is that like the more we go in this hidden information direction, the less likely we are to go in that other direction that Dave wanted to.
What do you mean?
Of the hiding in the background, sliding around and the movement.
Yeah, I mean that can always be an element, and honestly, to me, there's a bigger game here. Like there's a bigger game where like I know Dave is very much like the hiding around thing in the background. I think that's fine, and I think that should always be there and to make you feel like a sneaky guy. But like I think there's a game where you're not all privy to the same screen. You're privy to pretty much the same screen, but there is a game where it's 2D and it depends on where you're looking, and it's less about pixel hunting and more about sussing out patterns and who's who's doing what and hidden information.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. I've made progress in a video game, and we've made progress in that video game, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Alright. I could see there being multiple screens. It depends. It really depends on how easy it is, like what kind of information you get to lead you then at that point to somebody.
Like I just want a bigger map where like your view is like 1/4 of the map, and you can like pan your camera around and look wherever the hell you want. But like
the worry being of a game like that being okay. I zoomed in so I can, or I zoomed back to my character so I can move, and now this person has moved and I lost track of them and I can't figure out where they went. The constant loss of the person is.
Well, the way we're doing it right now, right, is we're packing the screen with so much that that it's easy to hide, even though it's a relatively small space.
Yeah.
But I think there's a way you can do this where it's like the NPC behaviors are a little bit more complex, and there's fewer NPCs, and they're more distinct. Even like 20 or 30, and they're more distinguishable. So it becomes more like a game of Clue than a game of Where's Waldo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely don't want to go there right away. I do eventually want my kitty laser sniper thing to have a place in the game. I think that's a funny idea.
There's also a world where like I I don't know, there is there is something to like also like the idea of maybe trying to add in some more clue like elements in a bigger game of like you're trying to
Yeah.
solve each of someone else's murder in time or something. You know, the first one to get who solves the other person's murder wins or something. I don't know. There's something to that could a path that could be followed, but I'm not sure that it's this game or at least this mode of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it being a different mode entirely or something. Um, yeah, I can definitely see it being a different mode entirely. All right. End of stream. If I can find the fucking